take pictures of the, is it domestic related?
6-1 bullet, 2-1 try to get shots going.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close by just let me know. 10-5,
This is the EvilleCJ Media and Investigations Network, the realest reporting of all media sources. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this out to your socials and friends. Here now are your hosts. Yeah, well, that was going to be a flawless intro until Streamyard messed up again and froze me being able to change all of the different media assets. So it's going to be an interesting show, that's for sure. It was already going to be spicy because I don't know how you feel, and I don't know how anybody feels in chat or watching this on replay, but I'm really getting sick. I've been getting so sick and tired of this freaking TMZ, same thumbnail. We have another note. You know, the third time, we're not going to report any more notes if we get them, but then they just keep reporting them. It's the same thing. They've been played for fools for so long. I'm so tired of it. They're the biggest clickbaiters out of this whole Nancy Guthrie missing persons case. And I'm surprised the family hasn't reached out and told them to shut up. You hear all of these law enforcement, ex-law enforcement saying, if you're getting the damn notes, shut the hell up and just talk to the FBI. And it's no wonder the FBI ghosted them. It's because their whole purpose of this whole note thing is they want to make a doc out of it. It's all financially driven and has been from the very beginning. What's your quick opinion on this TMZ ransom note folio? Like, just dumb shit. I'm sorry. It's Streamyard, you're half to blame for my spicy today. I'm just saying.
It is frustrating, and you know, with every new note that comes out, it's like a game they're playing, and we're just going to keep stringing this poor family along in the public, and I'm going to drop tiny little hints, but I'm just never going to give you the answers that you're looking for. And now there's two of them now that are supposedly sending these notes, and they're arguing with each other, these ransom senders, and calling each other idiots. And I mean, can you take this seriously anymore at this point?
Right. It's getting so ridiculous anymore. I mean, it's like from the third note, you know, this is why it's the realest reporting of all media here. Because I said from the third frickin' note, this is a waste. Let's go down to the common sense level, okay? Let's go down to the common sense level. What kidnapper that's doing a ransom offers 3 different notes? Right? Okay, number 1, because number 2, if you're a kidnapper and you're doing a ransom, you're lucky to get 2. You're lucky to get 2. So the fact that you got 3, it's like, okay, this is not being believable already. And then with this snitch has been out there for a long time. Do you think that they had a frickin' party go do this kidnapping? No. It was probably just a couple people, small group. You don't have to worry about people talking. I was saying back then, when Nancy didn't make it past the first sunrise, neither did the guinea pig that was on the freaking camera, because the mastermind didn't even show up on it. All right. So the guinea pig was gone too, because to me, 2-person operation. You had to get rid of Nancy. Shit went haywire. You didn't expect the blood loss. She died. That wasn't part of the plan. You got to get rid of her. That's why I said she didn't make it past the first sunrise. You got to get rid of her. It already went to hell. And then the guinea pig that showed up on camera, that was part of the it went to hell. you got to get rid of them too, because they're also just as much of a liability. You know, when you're thinking like a criminal. So then when you're going to this snitch, was this a huge group of people where the mastermind wouldn't sit back and go, I bet you Jimmy's telling somebody something? It's not going to be hard to figure out, right? So the fact that this dude keeps coming out, oh, well, I got this. Just give me 1 Bitcoin. Oh, I got this. Just give me 1 Bitcoin. Now I got a video. Just give me 1 Bitcoin. They are just as much clickbaiting as TMZ, and they're doing it together. You know what I'm saying? They're a tandem. They are doing it together because these fucking fools, excuse me, these fools know that TMZ is going to be like, well, you know what? If we get another note, you guys, we promise we're not going to report it. And then they go and fucking report it 2 days later. They already know this. They're like, hey, these guys are suckers. All we have to do is give them this, and then Harvey's going to go. And then we got another note. Right? You know it's going to happen. And the people that are doing this, I've said this from the beginning too. Why can't the FBI figure out who these people are? It's because of international laws. When I was studying up on the Delphi case like 7 fucking years ago, I started researching and figuring out, oh damn, this is why a lot of these pedos ain't getting busted from these apps, is because of the international laws that prevent our government from being able to protect our own people from those people. It's real. That's why there's such a problem with the apps and the pedo crap, because of overseas BS. It's the same thing. As soon as I heard the ransoms, and after how many ransoms from different people are coming through, and the FBI can't figure out who the F is sending it, ding, 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 it's called international laws. International laws. So what does that tell me? Well, that tells me this isn't somebody that had something to do with the crime, because if it was somebody from Mexico, our government would be kicking down the mother effing dirt, okay? If it was Mexico. It's not Mexico. It's somebody overseas that is literally just trying to get somebody to pay that 1 Bitcoin so they can wreak havoc. Look at a lot of overseas countries, they are very proficient at hacking. We've had warnings from our own government, be prepared, this and that months ago. Certain hacking from other countries, they're very proficient at it, a lot better than we are.
Mm-hmm.
They are. I mean, hell, they've defrauded our own government from the COVID stimulus payments that went to nobody, fraud over there. I mean, all these different frauds that have taken place with our own government because they were able to hack shit and fool it. So to me, it's, when TMZ reaches out to the FBI and says, hey, FBI, is it okay if we pay this Bitcoin because we want to do a doc on it? No wonder the FBI ghosted them. But the FBI, because I'm sure the FBI knows exactly what I'm saying, right? Right? And so why would they say to TMZ in a response, TMZ, don't pay that dollar Bitcoin, because if you do, they might hack your whole infrastructure for your business. And next thing you know, you're reaching out to us because they demanded $20 million or $20 billion for you to get your shit back, because the government ain't paying for it. Think about all the different businesses in the United States that have been hacked from these overseas companies, where they get their passwords and information ripped away from them, stolen from them, and they have to pay a ransom to get their information back. Otherwise, they don't have the business. And the government doesn't pay ransom. Those businesses have to pay it, but they reach out to the government to help them. This is what TMZ is going to suffer if they pay this frickin' Bitcoin. They're too stupid to even realize that. And it's amazing to me that you have investigative journalists, a whole bunch of them, sitting in that room over there, mixing all their brain stew together, coming up with breaking information. And yet, not one of them can literally sit back and go, maybe we shouldn't promote these ransom notes anymore and just send them to the FBI, even though they're ghosting us because that's the right thing to do. Instead of because listen, I get information that I have to send over to different levels of authorities. Do I ever talk about it? I know what I can talk about and I know what I can't talk about. And if I ever got freaking ransom notes for a case, I am not saying nothing. Nothing. It does not help. The only thing that this does is what do you think? We discussed this a while ago about the emotions and the roller coaster and how it slowly erodes the family's hope. The strength, it slowly erodes it with each roller coaster bump. This TMZ just continues. What do you think this does to Savannah? We saw how she broke down in the last episode that we talked about, Nancy, right? When she was breaking down on set with her coat, and she's like, and trust me, I'll find the joy. And it's almost like, damn, are they trying to get rid of her? Or is she like, because I mean, how hard does that have to be if you're a coworker? And prayers to Savannah and her family. You know what I'm saying? We understand. But how hard does that have to be for a coworker to go to work every single day? It used to be joyful and happy and playful. And during each commercial break, you're looking at one of your good friends and she just continues to break down and has to wipe the tears real quick before the camera comes back on. And you see it every day. It's got to break your heart too. And then that affects your mood. And then you're not as chipper. And then there's a somber mood throughout the whole building. I can see how it can affect things, so I don't know. What do you think with that, Jennifer? What do you think's going on? Do you think they might be trying to push her out, like trying to talk her like, look, Savannah, just go into retirement? It's like I said, make your own YouTube channel, Savannah. Go into retirement, just because I don't think she's healing very good. And that can't be good for the workplace. What do you think is going on there at the Today Show?
Yeah, I think that's very possible. I mean, look at what they did in the beginning when everyone tried to steal her spot.
Yeah.
And
the backstabbing.
Yeah, it would make a lot of
dirty
sense that, they found a way that they can just kind of scoot her on out the door. And if you think about it, it's an easy excuse so that she doesn't feel like she's being attacked by everybody and not wanted there, to just go ahead and blame it on her situation with her mom. Like, well, maybe this is just too much for you. Let's keep you emotionally invested on the show so that you're always dysregulated and upset and it's just too much. And then eventually I can see her saying, I can't do this anymore. And then it's going to be a fight between everybody left there of who's going to get her spot.
Yeah, because of the money. The main host gets that money. I honestly think it's going to be a mutual kind of decision. She knows. You know what I'm saying? She knows. She's driving to work, leaving work. I'm sure she's crying until she goes to sleep, and she's crying as soon as she wakes up. I can't imagine. That's your mama.
Yeah.
That's your mama. I can't imagine, so all I can do is...
The anxiety I would feel just not knowing and worrying, did she suffer? Was she scared? I mean, that would it would eat me alive.
Think about the anxiety when you lose your phone,
Yes, I know what that feels like. And then that's just a phone. It's not a person.
Right. And just think if it was your mama or a loved one or your friend. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough. So, yeah, and then another thing I want to discuss is, with this whole, she was with nature, she's dead, she's with nature. That was, the second note. I think I really feel those first two notes were real. Number one, $4 million. You know, hey, hello, Savannah. We have your mother Nancy. $4 million. If you don't pay it by this date, then it goes up to 6 million on day 3, and then day 4. If by day 4 you don't pay the 4 million, it goes to 6 million, and then by day 7, if you don't pay the 6, then she's dead. That was the first note. That, to me, that's real. That's real because half of Savannah's yearly income, that's legitimate. And it's kind of crazy how the brother instantly was like, Savannah, I think this was a ransom for money, and I think you were the target. The brother said that from the beginning. It's just crazy. The people that are blaming the family, I don't think the family has set up some kind of connections in France. Hey, you guys in France, do us a favor and write these ransom notes, okay? Right? No. So for people, and it's really gotten bad now on social media with some of these clickbaiters blaming the family, and it's ramped up so much again, and I feel so bad for the family. If it only happened to those people, maybe they would not have to go through it to truly understand, unfortunately. But some people have to burn their hand on a hot stove and find out. Unfortunately, in life sometimes that's what has to happen. But when it comes to this, the second note was, then she's dead, she's with nature. Such a shame that nobody was doing grid ground searches in the very beginning, or ever has, because like I said in the beginning, after I seen the video of the guinea pig show up, and I'm like, I wouldn't even have him be a getaway driver in my shit. That to me told me right there, mixed with the blood loss, I was like, there's no way they were prepared for this. She's dead. And so it sucks that now we know that this note is being revealed, that the second note from the real ransom people revealed that she did die. And so, it's unfortunate that nobody really did a search, because I really feel like they would have been able to find her, because I don't think you hear these investigators, they're talking like, if you look at the wording, it means that she probably wasn't buried. She was probably placed next to a tree or a bush. It's the shit I was saying from the first week. People, please get out there, do a mile grid ground search from the house out. She's got to be in a few bushes somewhere, because they didn't make it far down the road before they're like, we just got to get rid of her. And they tossed her in some bushes off the side of the road somewhere. And it's really unfortunate that nobody did any of those searches when there was so many people there that could have. I really feel bad for the family. If I had the opportunity to be there, trust me, we would have had a real search. I really feel like we would have found her, because you asked a question before the show, about, do you think we'll ever find her? And I made the comment, like I said back when nobody was doing those searches in the very beginning, I made the comment, you think about the environment, you think about the animals, you think about the terrain, the elements of weather. It wouldn't take, especially the animals, it wouldn't take very long to disperse parts of her throughout the landscape. And at that point, when nobody's doing those searches initially, the animals are going to take care of it first. And that's when I said, well, it's going to be 10 years later now that we're going to find out that we find a femur or something out in the desert. it gets connected back to Nancy, and 10 years later we find out, oh, that's where she, and it's unfortunate because um the family has to suffer that whole time. All those people literally made over $200,000, $100,000, multiple people out there that were making all that money, and they couldn't even get off their ass to actually go look for her. It's really, it gives real searching a bad name, because then when you go out to these communities, these people have that impression of them and think that's how you operate, and you have to overcome that. And that's fine, because that's what we're here for. We're here to show people that there's a right way to do it and there's another way to do it, and it's fine. But yeah, when they didn't release this information until recently about her being passed away, and the reason that they said that they didn't come out with this information was because they didn't want people to stop searching. Like, we don't want to let people know that she passed away because we don't want people to stop searching. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Because you didn't want your own department to search. You didn't want the family to set up any kind of searches. You didn't want the family to search. You didn't want anybody out there searching. And so I don't understand how that makes sense, Jennifer. How does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Like 5 months later, we're finding out that the second note from the real kidnapper said she was passed away, but they didn't want to tell people because they didn't want people not to search and look. And it's like, oh, I don't get that. I don't understand that.
And it's frustrating for me to see nothing happening as far as searches, because in today's world, we have so much technology that at our fingertips. Everyone wants to fly their drone for every other reason, except in this Nancy Guthrie search. I mean, it's a vast desert area, and you could just put out an advertisement for people in the kindness of their own heart, without getting paid, to just come and put up a drone and search all of these vast areas that, on foot you might not be able to get in and out of easily. The weather, it's hot, it's a scorcher. You don't want people getting dehydrated out in the sun. So utilize what we have at our fingertips. And I'm sure there's tons of people in the public that would have loved to have helped, just out of the kindness of their own heart, and it's not happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's some drones, but you got to get. There's a lot of pretend, I mean, and you see it. You see it with these shows that have been happening. Even the clickbait shit. Like new video. There wasn't any new video. There wasn't. There was, the note said that I have a video, but I'm not going to share it unless I get a Bitcoin. Like, so there's so much of this clickbait, and it goes all the way from mainstream all the way down to the person that is pretending to do a search, like, and going places, like, still nobody has done a grid ground search from the house a mile out. Nobody. Still, they're going to freaking mines, and they're going to mountains, and they're going to this river, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's all pretend. It's I'm going to show up, continue to pound the hashtag of this case every freaking time I do any kind of whatever, because I'm just going to keep milking. Oh, what's another? Oh, the views are, what's another way to milk it? Oh, let me get my drone out there. Yeah. Let's figure out another way to milk it. Like, that's all it is. And TMZ is the biggest part of it. Think about it. If TMZ didn't come out with these fake ransom notes, well, they're ransom notes, but the fakeness of how real they are, I should say. Because they've been fake ever since the third note. All the way back then. It's been nothing but fake. Hey, I got a photo. Hey, I know a location. Hey, I got this. Why didn't you say all this shit in the first note, bro? Hey, I got a video. Hey, I got a photo. Hey, I got a location. Hey, I got a name. Hey, I got... It's all been in different notes spread out. Why didn't you say it all at once? Don't you want to... Like, if you're playing poker, don't you want to have... Hey, look. Bam! You want to show all your cards so that somebody else is like, oh, shit. They know what you got. If you really have it, then they know what you got right off the bat, and they're going to do whatever they can. I mean, it just makes the fakeness of these notes and the fact that they keep coming out with this, we got another note, that is to me, that's the main reason why this stuff just keeps happening all these months later. Mm-hmm. And then Howard Bloom throws his shit in there about an apology. That dude makes up so much stuff, you know. But I honestly don't think that Howard Bloom would have been on a show talking about an apology ransom if TMZ wasn't continuing to pump these fake, real, freaking ransom notes. Other than that, what else has come out from this case that people are continuing to every freaking bam, I'm live, Nancy, I'm live, Nancy, I'm live, Nancy, when there's so many other cases to discuss, so many other victims out there? Why is there still this boom, 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 boom? Because what new information has come out since the day that she walked out, or the day that she was taken out? Like nothing. Other than the video and some screenshots. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Except for these notes, these ransom notes that are fake.
Yeah. And in my opinion, if this was real ransom notes from the people that did this, they've lost credibility because they keep compromising. They're not setting a firm goal and saying, if you want your mother back, this is what I need, and that's that. It's, they don't get attention for the first one, they're not getting their way, so then they compromise, and then it's another letter, and then it's another compromise. And if I was a kidnapper, I mean, am I going to get taken seriously? Because every time I don't get enough attention, I change the goal, and I make another compromise. And who's gonna listen to that? They're not going to get their Bitcoin because of that,
right? It's like they knew when TMZ knew when they first came out back. It was like a month and a half after Nancy went missing. Somewhere around a month and a half or so time period was the first time that TMZ said, if we get any more notes, because they started to go like, these ain't, you're not dumb, right? They got common sense. They're looking at these. They knew the first ones were real. 4 million, 6 million. Come on now. They knew those were real, and they directed it at Savannah, and they have Nancy, and they talked about the Apple Watch where it was located in the house. Mm-hmm. The notes after that, I'm sure they sat back in their little boardroom and went, these aren't legitimate because they don't make sense. Just like the stuff that we've been saying here. They don't make sense. So when they first said, about a month and a half after she went missing, we're not going to report any more notes if we get them, because I really think at that point they were like, yo, this is fake. these are fake. This is a game to them. We're not going to feed into their game by continuing to report these fake ass ransom notes. So we're just going to get rid of it. We're just going to quit reporting on it. Which they shouldn't have been in the first place. They should have just been giving it to the FBI. What a horrible assist to an investigation when you literally are just peeping your shit out there that you get sent to you. It's ridiculous. And it taints evidence, really. But I think at that point they were like, okay, yeah, these are fake. We're just going to quit report. And then they just kept getting them, and they were probably sitting back in their boardroom, and they're like, you know what, you guys, this is making a lot of money. Look at JLR made over, that first month, $220,000 in just super chats alone, not counting Cash Apps, PayPals, Venmos, and memberships. Just in super chats alone, over $220,000 in that first month. And they were sitting back looking at those numbers, and they were going, damn, we need to really tap into this. You know what, guys? Let's report. Because remember, when they first shut up and then they spoke again, they had 2 notes in between that time period. So they got another one. They didn't say nothing. And then that's when I think they went, you know what? Let's try and milk this like these guys are. And that's when they got that second note, and they're like, okay, we'll go ahead and keep reporting this. And so they reported the 2 notes, and then it went for a little bit, and they said, okay, we're going to stop. And then it happened. And then 3 days later, they came out with another video, sad face, we have another note. And then it just kept going from there and there. And obviously, when they sit there and go, hey, do you mind if we pay the $1 Bitcoin or the 1 Bitcoin FBI? Because we're going to make a doc out of this. It's all financially driven. And you knew it right there. It was financially driven. And Harvey said it himself. He's the one that literally said, and I called the FBI and I asked them if we could, pay some of the Bitcoin to see what happens. And we're going to make a doc out of it. And then they just ghosted us. He said it himself. He admitted himself after all this time, the reason that they keep coming out with these is because it is financially driven. It's to create a doc out of it.
Yeah.
And how disrespectful to the FBI, to the investigation, that you get information and you don't keep your mouth shut and let the investigators do what they're supposed to do with the information. I'm
it's
afraid
turning into a reality TV show. And
that's
TMZ
what they are,
is
though,
stringing it along, to create this reality TV show. And even if those ransom notes are fake, it's bringing in views. It's adding content to their documentary they're going to make, and it's not about anymore, finding Nancy and getting answers and helping the family.
It never was. Not to any of those people. Not to TMZ, not to any of the people out there, because again, who has done you start at ground zero. It doesn't take rocket science. That's your first day on a search, is you start at ground zero.
Yeah.
And you work your way out. And the fact that it still has never been done to this day. We're talking 5 months later, almost to the day. 5 months later, almost to the day, in a couple days, and still not one grid ground. And so when nobody starts at ground zero, when you got these people reporting evidence out to the mass media for attention when they should just keep their mouth shut and let the FBI do what they're supposed to do, and when the FBI says it's cool to talk about it, then you can talk about it, but until then you shut the fuck up. How disrespectful. And this is all supposed to be for Nancy. and everybody is literally effed Nancy.
Yeah.
Really, when it comes to looking for, supporting, the awareness. Yeah, there's awareness, but what is the awareness? It's like Sebastian Rogers. It's like Summer Wells. Yeah, there's awareness, but it's not the right awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's either milking or it's freaking drama. That's all you see.
Yeah.
You
Well, it turned into a circus.
It has. And people are playing it out. They even have their little intro videos with the fucking circus. And they're in the circus. They're even promoting that they're part of the circus. It's so disgusting. It's hard to see it. And all you have, and you think, you go back to what we just literally saw a couple days ago with Savannah breaking down at the desk with her coworkers on live. This was no in between takes. This was live. She was saying this shit live for the whole world to see her pain.
Well, and the whole world, they want to see it. They want to push those little buttons to get a reaction on TV so that they can watch it, and then they can go report about it and get their clicks and views. She's like a little chess piece. In my opinion.
I feel so bad for Savannah. I wish what can you do? You know, you just feel for somebody. Like, you know, myself, I've worked and communicated and with families of victims, you know what I'm saying? And I understand, like, when you see it in their when you see it in their eyes and you hear it in their voice and you feel it when they grab your hand. And then you think about Savannah and what she's going through, and then you think about all this shit that's going on. It's like you want to help in any way that you can, but how? How do you? How do you? How do you help against the TMZ bullshit? How do you help against the fucking massive army? I mean, hell, you have a coercive controlled domestic abuser reporting on shit. One of reported on Micah Miller's shit, right? Like, and this person's out being able to promote caring about people and praying and all this other shit. Like, what the hell? When does bullshit get called out for being bullshit? Seriously, like,
no, it doesn't anymore.
A domestic, like, Scott Reich even went in on him too. Like, and it's just, it's just crazy. So, News Nation had this video, and this is, I hate the title of it. TMZ at the center of the search for Nancy Guthrie. I hate the frickin' title of it. TMZ.
Well, it's just stroking TMZ's ego. That's what they want. Let's give it to him. So now it's just going to continue the cycle.
Yeah, because every time there's a note, there's Fox, Fox, NBC, CNN, all these different talk shows. We're going to check out that episode from News Nation, TMZ at the center of the search for Nancy Guthrie. The center of what search?
Should be the search. Yeah. Why is TMZ the center of this situation? It's not about TMZ. It's not about Harvey. It's about finding a missing grandmother that was kidnapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, TMZ at the center. Let me see here. Because there's so much. I figure we'll check out the News Nation because it's going to have everything all in one. because they've been out there. Hopefully we'll be okay, because I've said a lot of shit on this episode, and those people don't like it when you say that shit about them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the shit's got to be said, you know. It's not the first time I got in trouble. It probably won't be the last, because I say how I feel, and I say the real. And listen, if people wanna freaking try and censor my words, well, it is what it is. I want to show this here. I'm trying to pull up a photo here, because this, I don't know, there's been a lot of people that have kind of come up with their own drawings, and I don't know how they're coming up with the drawings that they're coming up with, honestly. But let me say what's up to everybody as well, and make sure you go sub to the Jennifer G files. What's up, Irene, Caddy, Rosie? Thank you for hopping in. We went off on a little tangent. What else do you got to say? The no search, and they're at the center of the search. I don't understand how I just get angry, you know, being somebody that does searches and things like that. It just really upsets me because it's like, literally, I would have been there if I could have made it, trust me. And I feel so bad, because I was sitting there thinking, hey, there's plenty of people there. You know, I'm sure somebody's gonna search. You know, you had hope. There's a bunch of people out there for looking for Nancy. Nothing ended up happening. So then it's like, damn, if I only could have. If you're enjoying the live stream, help us reach more people. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, comment, and share this out to your socials and friends. And we do appreciate you. And we are also doing the vertical stream audio podcast. So if you're over there, hopefully you're enjoying that over there. And also, if we do go to show anything on screen that we do need to reference, we'll give you a timestamp so you can come check out the horizontal stream, so you can see whatever we were discussing. But mostly it's going to be audio anyway. And so because Streamyard doesn't like to, you know, you'll have like half of a face and it doesn't line up right. So it's like, until they fix their stuff, it's a virtual stream audio podcast. It sounds like she felt obligated to explain herself, and it was on live, you know. The ransom notes are real. Well, this is what we heard from Sheriff Nanos in the very beginning, that he advised the family not to pay the ransoms. He advised the family not to do searches. He advised the family not to set up any kind of searches, and he also advised the family not to pay any of the ransom. The family actually wanted to pay the ransom right away. They were willing to pay the ransom, and the sheriff and the FBI said, just wait. Oof. That's why I said from back then, Jennifer, that I wouldn't be surprised if later on that the Guthrie family files a lawsuit against the Pima County Sheriff's Department for botching the investigation, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I've been saying it from the beginning. Like, I see them... Not a lot of... I appreciate that, because not a lot of people agree with me on that. So thank you. But yes, I really see that coming. Like, and I have for a long time. And you see all of this stuff. Like, just think. Savannah's got to be asking herself every freaking night and every morning, what if I just wouldn't have listened to Sheriff Nanos and I would have just paid the ransom?
Yeah.
At least I could have had her body, right?
Or at least knowing that she tried everything she could, instead of always wondering in the back of her mind, what if? because that sometimes is even worse than not knowing. It's the questioning yourself over and over. Did I do the right thing?
Yeah.
But Nanos was just throwing out roadblocks left and right from the very beginning, and it was strange to me because it was things that would have helped the case. And when those important decisions came up, it was just an automatic, no, we're not doing that. And I always thought that was strange.
Yeah. It's especially just because listen, your department was fucking up. That's why you got investigated from the FBI 10 years ago, bro. Like, you guys were fucking up. And for you to hold a grudge when when Patel says, I literally had flight on standby to take this evidence to Quantico, and like, dude, it's not about you. It's about Nancy. And it's never been about Nancy from the very beginning for Chris Nanos either, because he didn't allow. Listen, put your shit aside. It's like I've always said, like when I got the cease and desist from Seth Rogers when I was searching for Sebastian, all because his fucking mother wanted to come up on my live stream, knew that I was recording, knew that the mic was live, because that's how she found me. Hello. I was deep in the damn woods. Hey, CJ! You knew where I was at, and you knew that I had my microphone, and my microphone sticks out of my left ear. So when I'm looking at you to my left, you can see the frickin' microphone right in front of your face. His mom said some shit that wasn't true about Chris Proudfoot, and it created this whole firestorm. And then she had to save face, so she just said, oh, I didn't know CJ was recording me. Bullshit, lady. So then Seth wants to give me a cease and desist when I was the only one out there searching for his fucking son for how many months, right? Had all these different teams, canines, boats, and all this shit organized. Fucking, let's go. Let's find Sebastian. And this dude gives me a C and D because his mom pops off at the fucking mouth and he can't stand up to his mother. I literally had to put out videos showing from the live stream. This is like, I'm in the fucking woods, man. You knew where I was at because you knew this. And you knew I was recording, and you knew what you said would get across the fucking airwaves and do the damage you wanted it to do, and you used me as a guinea pig, and then you tried to throw it on me. It's like, hell, fuck off, right? Yeah. It's the same thing.
And I sat there and I said,
right.
What family does that?
And when I got that, I said, even if it was my own worst enemy, and they came up to me and they said, CJ, my own worst enemy, and they came up to me and they said, CJ, I'm sorry that whoever's missing, I'm going to do whatever I can to help find. I would sit there and go, you know what, worst enemy, no matter what led us up to the point for us to be worst enemies, thank you. I appreciate the offer. And hopefully we can discuss our bridge in the future. But thank you, and I appreciate it. That's what I would do. My worst enemy, if they came up. So the fact that happened, and it's the same thing when it comes to this case. Your own worst enemy, Sheriff Nanos, is coming up to say, we will assist you in this investigation. You don't sit there and go, I don't like you. Fuck off. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You just don't do that. And it's the same thing with him. The same thing with him. Did somebody called a live stream? What's up, Kib Kitty? And what's up, Open Mind? Claiming Nancy was... Oh, I can imagine whose live stream that was, because I saw somebody started live streaming again the last couple days, and they're known for having people that call in pretending to be people and pretending to have information, and oh my god, that there's that won't last long. The unfortunate things does not have a good. Yeah, the military has the best. Come on now. What's up, Snopia? This is not doing that. I mean, from the very beginning, it's like I said, after the first couple weeks of her being gone and nobody was doing that, you think about just the animals. Things are gonna separate. And that's why I'm like, ain't nobody gonna come, they're gonna come across the femur, unfortunately. And then it's gonna be like, hey, we found a femur out in the desert. Could it be connected? And then 7 days later, you find out it was tied to Nancy Guthrie. And it's like, if they would only went looking, they could have gave her a proper burial. They could have gave the family, even though it's not what was supposed to happen, at least the most proper you can, instead of her being ripped apart by frickin' animals and being at the elements of the atmosphere, instead of letting her be disrespected. Like, it's crazy.
It's sad.
Let me see. Harvey's holding turn out bigger. What Harvey Levin is holding at TMZ could turn out to be bigger than the Epstein files. They're all fake ransom notes, man. You know what? Like, they're all fake. I can't wait to watch the doc because I want to see how much more fake these are. For real, they're so fake.
Yeah, I don't want to see the documentary just because the way TMZ's gone about this, and this is the only reason that they're staying involved. But at the same time, you want to. It's like when you pass a car wreck on the highway, you got to crane your neck and look, and you want to see what happened. But it's almost like TMZ, I feel, should first of all take the proceeds from that documentary that they're going to make off of Nancy and give it to some sort of missing persons foundation or back to the Guthrie family. And I think a lot of apologies when all this is said and done need to be issued out. This was, I mean, the Guthrie family is watching everybody benefit off of this. And they know that this isn't about their mom anymore. It's pretty obvious. And I would be ashamed of myself being Harvey and doing this.
That's Harvey is what Harvey does. TMZ was created off of celebrity drama, So as much as they're getting reached out, for these fake ransom notes, they're being reached out because these people knew from the get-go that these guys were fools. The local TV didn't discuss ransom notes until TMZ did. And then they only discussed a couple. You never really heard of the local TV stations that were getting these same ransom notes. They came out and said something because TMZ did. I don't know if I would have even done that, but they have, for the most part, until recently, kept it all, for the most part, under wrap. TMZ is just celebrity gossip, that's how they were started. Hey, we're just gonna roam the sidewalks of Hollywood and try and bump into people and try and get them to talk to us for a minute and a half so we can get some kind of viral clip out of them and try and become popular. I mean, so when it comes to like real investigations, you can't really hold them that high because that's not who they are. That's not their foundation. That's never been how they've operated. It's always been based off of viralness and clicks. And so I'm not surprised that TMZ is doing that, and I'm not surprised with their actions with this ransom note, because they're doing what their foundation is. I just you got like all of these platforms that, you know, like we're going to watch this episode, News Nation. TMZ is at the center of the search for Nancy Guthrie, and you're like, what search? The ransom notes are fake. Why haven't you called out the fake ransom notes from the very beginning? Because then they probably would have stopped. But it's just like with these people that go out there and quote search, and just like Harvey with these ransom notes, they don't want these to stop. The reason that nobody's done a grid ground search from the house a mile out is because nobody's wanted to truly find Nancy. Think about it. Just like Harvey doesn't want the fake ransom notes to stop, otherwise he would have called it out. He wants the ransom notes to continue because you see what I'm saying? They don't want to find Nancy. They want the attention that comes from her being gone. That's why they operate, whether it's fake searches or fake ransoms, that's why they operate the way that they do. They've been doing it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Each side.
And who are they to put themselves at the center? That's another thing that really, it bothers me, that they're not the center of this. And it goes to show really where their intentions are when they put themselves. Now it's all about them, and everyone's going to focus on TMZ, and they're going to want to see what's happening to TMZ. Well, what's happening to Nancy? What's happening to Savannah? What's happening to all those grandkids that no longer get to see their grandmother, and they know why? That's traumatizing and horrible, but TMZ wants all of their attention. It's about them right now, and that's disgusting because it's not about them. It's never been about them. It's not about me. It's not about any of us.
Nope. And, you know, no wonder Savannah probably, I mean, think about this. What if you were Savannah and you saw all of these vultures? You know, you're out there by yourself calling for your mom, and you have all these vultures flying around above you that are supposedly calling out for your mom too, but really it's just squeals of hunger from those vultures. Everybody's sitting there going, oh, they're calling out for Nancy too. They're calling out for Nancy too. But Savannah just hears the true screeches of hunger from these vultures. That has to make her feel so alone in this journey of trying to find her mother, because she is surrounded by a bunch of people who pretend to be about her mother. So it looks from the outside like it's this huge group, but really she's being surrounded by the vultures that aren't even supposed to be there. That she has to feel so alone. And that has to add to her struggle even more.
Yeah.
You know, at least if you have support, you know, besides her immediate family and her work friends, and I'm talking about what you see and what you see on social media. She has to feel so damn alone and lost and confused, because how did this get to the way that it did? And I mean the stuff outside of looking for her. Like, how did all of this get to the notes and the shows, the call-ins, blaming the family and the harassments and the toxicity and all of that stuff. And it's like she's got to be like standing like she's in outer space looking down at the globe, just feeling alone, like so separate from everybody else, because all she sees around her are these vultures. It's got to be so heartbreaking for her. I hope she's able to overcome somehow, just get better in any way possible. I don't know. It's just heartbreaking to see it, and then to see it on live stream on live TV the other day.
Well, that, and they took the family's right to boundaries away, like calling in on someone like Alex, who's creating a scene outside her mother's house. You know, just her doing that, she got so much crap on social media, like, how dare you? But at the same time, how dare we, if all we're going to do is go there and act crazy and embarrass ourselves, embarrass the family and the investigation? You know, when do we allow them to put their foot down and say, hey, enough is enough? If you're not here for actual information and truth and helping, why are you here? She has that right to say that. And I think the more that we feed into these people that are being a circus, the worse it's going to get. And it's going to bleed over into everyone else's missing person, or, you know, a death of a loved one that needs to be investigated. It's going to turn into, well, it's all nothing but fake reality, because even if you put your foot down, you get so much crap, and you get told you're a horrible person because I'm not going to allow you to create a circus. And I think that's, if we don't get a handle on that, I mean, who's gonna find any clues, or who's gonna set up any searches the next time this happens? Because it's just all, everyone knows, well, this is just a joke. This is just clickbait.
It started with Summer Wells, and it just gets worse as these different cases come. That's why it's so easy to predict, you know, what's going to happen. Okay, guys, there's not much information that's coming out at this point. Now it's going to start where people are going to be like, shit, I'm not getting the views that I was getting before, because now there's not anything coming out, so I need to make something, create something, you know. And
No,
and
you sit
you
back
see
and
it,
you wait.
then the
You
then
wait.
the drama starts going after each other. You start to see the same shit, the same people doing the same drama, different people, and it's cookie cutter shit at this point, and it's never going to get better. It's just going to continue to get worse. The first one was Summer Wells, then it went to Sebastian Rogers. And each one has it, and you know, they have their own progression timeline, and each time a new one comes out, that progression timeline gets smaller and the drama gets even more. And there's no way that there's, all we can do is, this is why I promote this screen so much, the realist reporting of all media, is because the only way that we're not going to be able to rope it in, because that's what catches, you know, it's the glitter. I'm not interested in the glitter falling down, oh gosh, look at that shiny. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the truth and the facts. And so we will always be, you know, a small drop in the bucket compared to the huge swimming pool of clickbait and misinformation, because you know, all we can do is just continue to do what we do, continue to report how we report, and basically that's the only thing we can do. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and to a point where then, whether it's a company or a government or something, is going to shut the shit down, because it gets to a point where it's too toxic. just like with what they're starting to do with the age verification for a lot of these apps. Why are they doing it? Because shit is getting too toxic for our children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna get to a point that it's eventually gonna get shut down somehow because it ends up being too toxic. It's just gonna take another 5 or 10 years to get to that point.
Yeah.
I wish, the right thing, and if people were really truly caring about the victims that they speak of, well, then you would go about it that way, and it just don't happen. So all you can do is hope and pray that others eventually realize the errors of their ways and their words. But there's a lot of people that got to touch that hot pan to find out it's hot, and that's just the way it is with life, unfortunately.
Yeah, and those people are going to be what causes, social media to get banned from helping. And who's that really going to benefit if, we can't get people out there? Instead of putting out all these crazy circus videos, why don't you start putting out videos of who Nancy was? Do little videos about little bits of her life and the things that she was involved in to get people to want to help search, instead of standing outside her house and bitching out the family because they don't want them there.
Yeah, and then they collect $13,000 for lawyers' fees, and I could have told you from the very beginning the dude ain't gonna spend it on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have told you, like, he's just as good a criminal as the dude that walked up on video, and it's like, bro, like the guy that went up the guinea pig on the camera, it's like, bro, you literally didn't even think about, maybe if I walk backwards to the camera and then turn around this way, then my face won't show up on it. But no, you got your lips, your eyes, all sorts in that camera. You try and get flowers to block the, that's the thought process. And so, but hey, the dude's got 13,000. Just think, you know what I'm saying? Like, gosh, what $13,000 would do? That would fund, literally, $13,000 would fund almost a whole year of searches. About 8 months of searches, $13,000 would fund. And this dude's just gonna blow it on smoke and chewing gum. It's like, and it's supposed to be for Nancy. What's up, Stone? Thank you, everybody, for hopping in. We're gonna get into this video real quick. This is TMZ at the center of the search for Nancy Guthrie, and then we'll talk about this some more and see if you guys want to do some StreamYard live calls with me and Jennifer. So if you are interested in calling this videos, I think it'll be about a half an hour or so. So if you guys might be interested in doing a StreamYard live call, let us know in chat, and we'll make sure to take it when we open it up and let you know. All right, so StreamYard was bugging, so I probably have to re-add stuff. So give me 1 second. We're going to check out this video. I hate the title of it. TMZ at the center of the search for Nancy. Center of what? All right, let's share this. Thank you all for being here, and please hit the like as well. You know what? Before we do this, let me get all this set. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, this set. Oh my god. Oh my god.
The whack-a-mole game where I keep popping up and you gotta chase me around the screen.
Right. I gotta add everything. You guys, this is supposed to be something that was already set up before we go live, and it booted me twice. All right.
We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We will. And Streamyard. Oh, whoa! Oh my lord! All right, there we go. And then we got the Streamyard live call. All right, we're good. Let me just do a rundown. Make sure we're good. Nope. Got to add that. All right, we're good. All right. So hopefully. All right, here we go. Thank you for that little. I should edit that out of the video when we're done.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Vargas. We begin tonight with a new lead in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, now closing in on 5 months. The FBI has its hands on another anonymous ransom note, an email from a person claiming to know who the kidnappers are and where to find them. In return, he wants 1 Bitcoin, worth about $60,000 at current market price. Like other past ransom demands, this one also was sent to TMZ. The outlet believes it's the same person who previously wrote to them with that Bitcoin demand. But unlike those other notes, this time he claims to have a video.
He says that he has video. He has video of Nancy Guthrie with the main kidnapper on what probably would be the last day of her life. He also says that he has names, addresses, phone numbers of the kidnappers.
This person allegedly has this video of Nancy Guthrie on a phone that has been turned off and is being kept in a secure and secret location. TMZ says he is willing to hand it over on a silver platter, according to this note, along with the phone's password, once he gets that Bitcoin. But TMZ isn't giving something for nothing, especially when it's still unclear whether this note is even legitimate.
Go to wherever that phone is and get a screen grab of something proving that you're not a liar and somebody who is trying to inflict more pain on the Guthrie family. If you've got something, send it. I mean, you've been sending us more than a dozen emails. Send us something to show you're not a fraudster.
84-year-old Nancy Guthrie has been missing from her Arizona home since February 1st. The only major clue of who took her is that surveillance video from her own ring cam showing a masked and armed man at her front door. Let's kick things off tonight with TMZ executive producer Charles Laudabaudiere. Charles, great to have you back on the show. So take us through exactly what this note said.
All right. So I'm going to pause it real quick because with what Harvey just said, you're absolutely ridiculous, bro. You're sitting there talking about the pain that the family's going through.
Nope, we lost CJ for a minute. See if he comes back. So how many of you are going to look at TMZ differently now after the Guthrie disappearance?
Sorry, that I got to add all this stuff again because it did that again. Tim, fucking Streamyard, dude, fix your shit. $88 a month for this. Now I lost my train of thought. Well,
we were
with
talking about Harvey and saying that they're putting the family through pain and suffering.
Right. And like you're sitting there going, give us a screen grab. You know, like you're even saying it like you know it's not legitimate. Why are you reporting it? Why aren't you like if the fucking kidnapper is sending you information, password and all this other going to, why are you coming out and reporting on it? Why? Like he sits there in that statement and says everything that we're saying to him, but he's saying it about the ransom and he knows that the ransom is fake. So why are they even doing this? Just with what he said himself, we are saying to him, why are you putting this family through more trauma with this fake stuff? How about you get something that's real? And then if the FBI says you can report on it, then report on it. Why? When you think it's fake yourself, you're not sending it to the FBI and keeping your mouth shut. Because you're not doing anything good. By them coming out and discussing this fake ransom letter is doing way more harm than it would be doing good.
Well, instead of calling it, a ransom note from the kidnappers, why aren't they just coming out and saying, we keep receiving these emails from someone, and not knowing who it's actually really from, but they're going with, oh, this is real and true, and this is what they're demanding. And I don't know about everyone else, but I am so tired of hearing Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Enough with the stupid Bitcoin.
Yeah. And then they have these faces like they're all sad and serious.
Yeah.
Go back to reporting on Britney Spears' shaving her head and shit, Stick to that.
Yeah, well, here's a perfect example of Henry Dukes will be proud of me, but stay in your lane.
Lying ass Henry. Oh, we got more to talk about with your ass too, lying ass Henry. Rosie has a great comment. If they let themselves get caught on video with Nancy, that means he was okay with Nancy seeing his face. No kidnapper would do that. Thank you, Rosie. That's
exactly good
right.
point.
Let's give let's see. Do I still have my applause since StreamYard took everything? Oh, here we go. Applause, Rosie. Yeah, none of that makes sense. I've thought for a while. I mean, look at the foundation. People can paint the house any color they want to paint it. It can look beautiful. Oh, wow, look at this amazing looking home. And then you go get the foundation inspected and you're like, yeah, no thanks. It's the same thing. It can look beautiful on the outside. Look at the foundation. Look at their foundation. Their foundation is Britney Spears shaving her head. Okay? Now sad face. All right. So here's and I believe Harvey's going to talk more too. It just starts off with him. They're like a combo, and you got to remember, these are people that like applauded on a live stream that somebody got assassinated.
Surveillance video from her own ring cam showing a masked and armed man at her front door. Things off tonight with TMZ executive producer Charles Ladabodiere. Charles, great to have you back on the show. So take us through exactly what this note said.
Thanks for having me, Elizabeth. Yeah, this note said, you heard in that video there that Harvey laid out most of what we can reveal about the note. We, of course, have been in contact with the FBI. There are certain things they would rather we don't put out there. And honestly, we don't want to say everything that's in there because then other people you could have copycats now using that information. We know that this is the same person.
We don't think copycats were using the same information to then start this whole fake ransom. Like, that's exactly what they did. And by them continuing to report every fake ransom note inspires copycatters. Like, what are they saying? You got Harvey starting out saying, we want to make sure that they're not going through more suffering than they did. And then you got this guy talking about how, yeah, we want to make sure that there's no copycatters that are, like, dude, they are contradicting everything that it's like these people that are going out there searching for Nancy in fucking mines. It's the same thing. We're going to tell you, we're going to tell you and promote that we're about this, but really our actions really show something completely different.
Yeah.
Horrible. And they look so like, we're so concerned. I feel so bad for Savannah. Just nothing but a bunch of vultures flying around her.
Because of the Bitcoin address that they include in there, and there's a name that they use. However, there's never any email for us to contact him. So we're basically just waiting whenever he decides he wants to send these emails to us. But in it, he says he's got this video that shows Nancy on her what he describes as her last day, and she is with one of the kidnappers. I think very interestingly, in the past, he has said that there are multiple kidnappers. This time, he says there were only two, and that the video shows her with the main kidnapper. That's the language that he uses.
He actually says explicitly that there are two kidnappers?
He says there are two people who are directly, two kidnappers who are directly connected to this, and they're the only ones who would know, besides him, I guess, where the...
You see what I'm saying? So when I discussed about they're not going to have a huge party of people committing this crime, right? So let's go back to what he just said. So there's two kidnappers and the one guy that's been able to get the video and the photo and the location and all of these different things. This one guy is alive 5 months later. So when the mastermind and the guinea pig, if that's who it is, don't you think they would both already know the first time a note came out that I have a location of her? Don't you think they both would have sat back and looked at each other and went, it's gotta be Jimmy? Mm-hmm. Like, he's the only other freaking person. How is this dude alive 5 months later? He would have been dead the next day.
Yeah. And I guess so all of these ransom notes are coming from someone who wasn't even directly involved in the kidnapping. It's just someone who may or may not have information. So we're not even hearing from the people that actually did this and are demanding these Bitcoins.
What the heck, man? This just, I wish you could buy common sense at the corner store, man. What a wonderful life this would be, Jennifer. It would be such a wonderful life, you know. Just go, listen, you're a little low. You're a little low on the common sense. Just go get yourself a can. Come on back. Right?
Yeah.
All right, I feel better, you guys. It's like being dehydrated, you know. You need a little bit of, you know, a little nourishment. It's unfortunate they can't do that. Because these people, they should have, like, promotions of it sitting on their desk. You know, you see a can of common sense right there sitting on it. I need to make that some kind of drink. It's called common sense. Maybe I need to make a flavor called common sense coffee, right?
There
common
you go.
sense. That's mine. I'm going to trademark that shit. Common sense coffee. Because people need it, man. Especially today. It's horrible.
Where Nancy's body is at this point.
And
so
that would jibe with what police have been saying. They, you know, and all experts sort of analyzing this case say this could not have been just simply one person who's doing this. But he also goes on to claim that he has video of the person that we're seeing right there in this porch cam video, that he is in this video with Nancy?
No, it's not that person there. We don't know. I mean, I guess you could say that person must.
So if you're on the vertical stream, the timestamp of the show is 1:29:30, and they're just showing pictures of the porch guy that we've all seen this whole time. But if you did want to see exactly what they were talking about from the vertical stream, 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 30 seconds is the timestamp.
Be one of the two kidnappers. If this person's information is correct, that there are only two kidnappers, I think that's a fair leap to make that the person in the doorbell video is one of the two kidnappers. And as for what the video shows, the only way he described it is that it was Nancy's last day before she passed away. Now, where that video is, it's on this phone. It's almost like a treasure hunt that he wants the authorities to go on. He says it's on a phone that is in a hidden location right now, though it would be easy to find if you had the location. The note says, for the price of 1 Bitcoin, I will send the coordinates, the information about where this phone is, along with a password, and that the authorities would then be able to go to that phone and get the video, which could then lead them to figuring out who are the people behind the kidnapping.
And TMZ.
And so again, why would this person 5 months later offer up all of this different information and not offer it up in the very beginning? Because that is your leverage. If you are committing these kind of crimes, you want leverage. The more leverage you have, the more you get to accomplish your goal. The fact that this person has waited this long to mention all of this stuff, it doesn't take rocket science to figure out that it's fake as hell.
Yeah.
Why would they wait that long to show all their cards? That's not how the game works. So to have all this info now, that should already be telling people this is even more fake. This person is reaching. Because listen, remember, we just found out that they sent a note. The real ransom people sent the second ransom note wasn't a ransom. It didn't have any money attached to it. It just said Nancy's dead. So if Nancy died somewhere between day 1 and day 4, then this person had all of this information with the first ransom note that they sent. That should tell anybody how fake these are. And if you didn't think they were fake back then, this is the wild card right here. This tells you it is absolutely fake. This stuff would have been acquired, would have been mentioned, and would have been offered in the first fake ransom note.
Yeah.
Just
what are they gonna do now when all of their information that they supposedly have is spent? Are they just gonna start making up stuff?
what they've been doing the whole time. When this doesn't get any attention, when they don't bite on this fish, I'm going to throw another fish out there. Mm-hmm. That's what they've been doing this whole time. I got this. Send me a Bitcoin. Okay, well, I got this. Send me something new, something more each time. And now, look, they've gone to the point where they're like, they're not biting. I just want them to bite. Here, let me say I got all of this stuff now. Now, I bet you the next note that comes out in 3 days. So what is today? Saturday? So, or wait, is it Sunday? It's Sunday, ain't it?
Today's Sunday, yeah.
Whoa, holy shit. I slept a lot. The last few days, I needed it, though. My body in this heat, and the heat's going to be even worse this coming week. So I apologize if I'm not on as much this week. This heat is killing me out there, y'all. All right. I bet you Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to hear about another ransom note. And this one is going to be, I have the exact specific location of Nancy's body.
Yeah. Where's my Bitcoin?
Because everything else hasn't worked. And the last one, they've already thrown a lot out on this one. That means they are so desperate that they're going beyond what common sense makes. Because if they were really trying to approach this with common sense, they wouldn't have added all of those things in the last one, they would have used that for drip feed. But they're getting so desperate, they felt that they had to throw a whole bunch in just to try and get them to bite. The only other thing that will get them to bite, because the last time they said, I have a general area. I bet you the next one that's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, I have, and I know the exact GPS coordinates of Nancy's body. Just pay me 1 Bitcoin. And then after that, their game's over. There's nothing else that they can offer that will make anybody bite on that Bitcoin. And so their game is going to be up. One more ransom note. It's going to go to the extreme, 2 or 3 days. That'll be the last one that we ever hear.
Yeah, if they really wanted this Bitcoin, they would have handed over their proof and evidence of who these people were a long time ago to the FBI. In my opinion.
Yeah, like witness protection. You don't think?
Yeah.
It's what I said back then too. Why it doesn't make sense when the first one came out. I know this information. I'm scared for my life. Well, then there's witness protection. You don't think if you went to the FBI and you said, hey, if your stuff is legit, you don't think the FBI would have protected you? Give me a break, bro.
Yeah. Well, they're not that scared because they keep sending notes to TMZ who's plastering it everywhere for everyone to see. So eventually these people would be found. Like someone's going to know who they are within this circle of kidnappers. So they're not that afraid.
All you have is the mastermind, the guinea pig, and Jimmy. And everybody knows Jimmy's the snitch. So it ain't too hard to figure. It's not like you have a whole network you got to work through and figure out who's the mole. No.
Right?
It's mastermind, guinea pig, and Jimmy.
Yeah.
And if the guinea pig got knocked off the first day, I don't think Jimmy would have been hanging around much to get photos and videos and shit. Jimmy would be dead too, especially after the first ransom note. Who in the hell came out and said something? Was it you, guinea pig? No, I've been with you the whole time, mastermind. It's Jimmy. Yeah. He would be dead 5 months ago. Back to this BS. Thank you all for being here. And thank you for hanging out this morning, Jennifer. And if you're not subscribed to Jennifer G Files YouTube channel, make sure you go subscribe. There was a YouTube thing where it kind of went weird and bugged out and she lost her YouTube channel. So if you were subscribed, definitely go subscribe to the new one. She had to start all over again, start fresh. And so make sure you go show some love to her over there, the Jennifer G Files. Since they're reaching so far, you think they would ask for more than... You would think that too, but they can't. See, this is why they're not smart criminals either. You start high and then you go low. They started high. They wanted like, what was it, 60,000 or something like that? They started high, but when they didn't get the first couple nibbles, they went down to 1 Bitcoin. You's a dumbass. You're just as much of a criminal as Criminal Network. You think about it. You just like when you're going to purchase a car, you start high, or they start high, and then they go lower. You have to.
Yeah.
You don't just go down. So they can't. They can't go back up because they can't even get the 1 Bitcoin to be bought. You know, they would have had a better chance.
It's embarrassing how they try.
Right. That's why they can't go higher, because they can't get the 1 Bitcoin to be bought. So they're definitely not going to raise it up another. But this is where they messed up too. If you're a real criminal, you keep the Bitcoin amount high. Why do you keep the Bitcoin amount high? Because it's more believable. What's more believable? 4 million or 1? Well, I would have to say the 4 million. Why? Just the amount alone makes it more believable. So the fact that you've dropped it to 1 Bitcoin this whole time, It just shows that you don't even how these people are not like I said, international laws, because this dude is stupid. Whoever is writing this fake ransom, like, you're stupid. Like, you didn't give everything out in the beginning. You're showing your tracks where you're coming out with different stuff just to try and get somebody to bite, and you're asking for like the lowest, not even like one coin.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even like, man, they must be looking up how to commit these crimes on Google or something.
They came up with this newest ransom note. If you notice, the coverage of Nancy Guthrie was starting to quiet down a little bit, and now all of a sudden there's this new ransom with proof, with video, and now everyone's jumped back on board, and it's all over the place, and this person's getting all of this attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll die back down again, and then they'll drop another little Easter egg for everybody that's not really even an Easter egg. But if you watch, the ransom notes come as the coverage goes up and down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Throw something else out there. You know, and it's sad because there's some people out there promoting on their shows that the family's involved, and that's some sick way of them keeping Nancy Guthrie's name out there. I mean, the stuff that people are saying or claiming about the family is just, I feel so bad for the Guthrie family. Just to have to be like, your mother is the name that's associated with all of this activity. That's got to hit you right here too, you know. So yeah, this I'm so tired of these sad faces. We're covering it up, but this guy, well, I can't even remember his name, some French last name or some shit, Boudier or some shit. Like, the sad faces, I can't stand it anymore. I just see it and it just fills me with negative emotion, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Just drives me nuts. It's like, just stop it. You're hurting Nancy and Savannah and the family.
You worked with the FBI on trying to trace where these emails are coming from. At one point, there were 5 FBI agents, according to Harvey, on the phone with TMZ's IT department. To no avail?
To no avail. Well, the only thing I would say is that, as far as we know, they didn't get anything there. They certainly spent a lot of time talking to our IT team here, but the only thing, earlier this week, they said to us, the FBI, that they felt they were working on something and that they were getting closer to figuring out who this person is sending these emails. And that they mentioned that while we've been referring to the person as a male individual, just, I guess we made that assumption, the FBI said they had reason to believe that perhaps it's a woman.
Really?
Either way, yes. And it's very clear that whoever this person is, they're watching our reports, because the email also makes a reference to, oh, the FBI thinks I'm a female. They don't say yay or nay. They just make a reference to that to make it clear they've been watching our reports.
So they think it's a female. So I doubt, I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Because that, how do I? So when you hand over information, okay, they don't sit there and go, you can report this, you don't report this. You don't have those conversations. Okay. So the fact that they could sit there and say, well, they've obviously been watching our reports. Yeah, because you're the dumbasses that keep taking the ransom notes as real. They're going to keep watching you, so they know. But do you think that the FBI, my God, The FBI is going to say, TMZ, you can say this, and you can mention that we think it's a female. Shut the hell up. Will the FBI come out and say, well, we didn't tell TMZ to say? No, they're not going to come out and say either way. They're just going to chill in the background, and they're going to hope that people do the right thing with evidence and information.
Yeah.
This is something that they came to the conclusion of. And to say, my God, the misinformation, man. The fact, well, the FBI said we can say, they don't tell you that shit. They don't.
No.
They don't.
Like I said, it's all about them now. Like, just being the center of this investigation, and they're a gossip channel. I mean, they're a celebrity gossip channel, and now all of a sudden they're the only link to finding Nancy, and I don't buy it. And what makes them say that this is a woman? Why are they claiming that?
I honestly think it's some kind of AI, because, you know, when I honestly don't think that they're thinking that far ahead, especially with the Bitcoin amount. But really, everybody has, so just like a fingerprint, everybody words things a certain way, grammar, capitalizations, everything, right? Everybody has a particular way of wording and writing. So when you were trying to create notes, if you were smart, you would use another source to create a note based off of what you want to have key points of. So therefore, that other source is creating its own style that is hard to track. There's different ways you can come up with it, and it'd be hard to track, just like it's hard to track them right now.
Mm-hmm.
If they were smart, they would use that to then create these letters so that the investigators can't consistently come up with a pattern of words and written grammar and everything. I honestly think it's something like that. Now, after everything that we've discussed, do you think that they're going to think that far ahead when they haven't thought this far ahead about the Bitcoin? Probably not. They're stupid.
Yeah.
They're just being protected by international waters and laws. That's the only reason why they ain't busted, because they're that stupid. There's just international laws that prevent our government from going in any further in investigations when it comes to internet crimes. So how they come to this conclusion that it's a woman, or they think it's a woman, I have to question that whole reporting, because I can't necessarily trust the people that are reporting that information first.
Yeah.
And me having worked with different levels of law enforcement when it comes to evidence and information in the process, I already know it's bullshit. I already know it's bullshit with what they've been saying about, well, the FBI, you're on some bullshit. You're just throwing shit out there to add validity to what you're saying, and you know damn well that the FBI is not going to come out and make a statement and say that we didn't tell you to say that, and we didn't say that you could say, because they're not gonna. So they're in a position where they know that, hey, we can say this, and you know, they're not going to come out and say that we didn't tell TMZ. They're in that position. So with this woman, I can't necessarily trust it. Now, if the FBI comes out and they have a report and it says, hey guys, it's been this many days later, it's been this many months, these are the current updates, then if they do say something, sure, I'll take that as legitimate. But with these people, and they're taking these ransom letters as legitimate, I can't take their reporting of it being a woman as legitimate either. I don't know. And could it be a woman that has the photo and the video and all that? It doesn't matter if it's a woman or if it's Jimmy. If it's Jimmy or if it's Jane, it don't matter. Regardless, when you're talking about people that are in these kind of criminal enterprises and they commit these kind of crimes, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. It doesn't matter if you're the mom or some stranger. If you peep a certain word or words and it's just a very small group, you're going to get offed. It's just that simple. So I don't care if it's a woman. I don't care if it's a guy. It doesn't matter to me. The fact is, if this person with this small clique of 2 kidnappers and 1 other person, the fact that somebody's been coming out saying that they have information from the first month and they're still alive 5 months later, doesn't matter. I don't care who it is. They would have been dead for the last 4 months. They would have been dead. Yeah. Period. I also doubt the FBI would be on the phone with the IT department when they just, yes, that's exactly what would happen, Rosie. They're not, but again, they know that the FBI is not going to come out and make a statement and say, we didn't tell TMZ this. So they can literally, I mean, think about it. They have never should have came out one time and mentioned any of these ransom notes. Not one of them.
Yeah.
Not one of them. And the FBI, this is how you know it's bullshit, because the FBI is not going to tell TMZ that it's okay for them to make a video on it. No investigator, think about this. Any investigator, what investigator is going to get a ransom note turned in for a tip and they're going to allow whoever it is to mention the ransom note? What investigation would ever do that? None.
Yeah.
None. That no wonder the FBI ghosted their ass, because they're like, this is a little kid that we just can't keep control of. For real.
Yeah.
They can't keep control.
Yeah.
Ain't no investigator gonna say, yeah, go ahead and talk about the ransom note. They should have kept their mouth shut the whole freaking time about every single one of them. That's how you get credible ransom notes. That's when you don't have to spend 5 months trying to make a doc about our investigation into the ransom notes and if they're real. Well, if you would have never said anything about any of them, I guarantee there would have only been a few of them and they would have been real. You might have had a fake one, but they would have been real. You wouldn't have to deal with this. The FBI wouldn't have to jump through hoops trying to see if this person's legitimate or not, wasting resources on shit that it didn't even need to be spent on, when it could have been focused on truly finding Nancy. So the fact that they are being labeled as the center of the of the search, they have done. Pray for us, because I've said a lot of shit in this episode, man. So, oh my God, I'm so nervous. But hey, it is just pray for us. I said a lot of shit today, but we knew it was going to be this way. It was going to be spicy, and Streamyard added to that in the very beginning. By the way, we still have to add and remove stuff as we go to different scenes, but we'll finish up on this video, and then we'll see what everybody has to say.
All right, Charles Laudabaudiere, thank you so much for that latest update on this case that continues
One more thing I should tell you, Elizabeth. They, after Harvey posted that video saying, hey, send us a photo, send us a screen grab so we know that this isn't, all made up. Mm-hmm. They saw that social media post and sent another email saying the reason they are not going to do that, and they haven't done it, is because anything they send will have metadata, which could then possibly lead to them being found. They don't want any trace that we or the police could use to locate them.
All right. Thank you, Charles.
Looks so serious. Looks so serious. They want to make sure. They want to make sure. God, I'm so tired of those frickin'. I can't. I gotta take it. I gotta remove it. I gotta remove it. I gotta get rid of that damn face on my screen. If anybody's interested in doing a StreamYard live call, just let us know in chat. I'm gonna switch to another video. Chris Cuomo.
Say it 3 times real fast.
No. At least I don't have to add the and project on it too. That's poof.
Yeah.
Chris Cuomo.
Yay!
I did it, Mom. I did it. All right. Thank you, Caddy. This is a video. Now, this is somebody that I consider legitimate right here. This is Brianna Whitney. She is the local reporter for, I think it's Arizona 12. Now, she actually got promoted to another news organization. I apologize. I don't remember what that is, but she's done a lot of great reporting when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie case. So we're going to check this out with some Chris Cuomo. Before we do a show,
I'm sorry.
Ron Burgundy used to go Unique New York, before his shows. I think I need to be, while we're in the backstage, getting ready for the show, I think I need to start going Chris Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Chris Cuomo. There we go. Or just come up with a nickname for him, like CC, right? CC.
There you go.
There we go. CC. All right. We're going to check out this video real quick. Thank you all for being here. Let us know if you want to do some StreamYard live calls after we're done with this. Check this out here.
And behavioral analyst Casey Jordan and former Arizona TV reporter Brianna Whitney, who is very key here. She is the reporter for the Crime Junkie podcast, and she is the one who says she saw the note. Good to have you both, especially on a Friday. Brianna, thank you. And just to make it really clear, which you already did, by the way, but there is no controversy as far as what you saw and understand was in this note. They said that Nancy Guthrie is no longer living, yes?
Correct. Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. All right. Because I just, I know you've never been anything but clear, but there's this silly controversy that I think is more clickbait than anything else. First of all, Casey, what is the best reason why what I'm suggesting is not the right thing to do, to take the flyer on the Bitcoin and see if this guy has anything?
Because there's so many better things that you can do with $100,000 than waste it on this hoax, for starters. Okay?
Definitely a hoax. Why?
Okay. First of all, why go through TMZ? Oh, you don't trust the police. Why don't you just contact the family directly? As Savannah would love to hear from you. Savannah's put $1 million on the table saying she would pay for real information to get her mother's body back or some kind of...
I have to pause it real quick because just like we gave Rosie a round of applause, I have to give this lady a round of applause. Thank you so much for speaking some damn truth, man. Yes, applause to this lady. It's a hoax. It's a joke.
Of information. And yet you're going through Harvey Levin. And yet he is going for the, listen, this guy is a ringmaster with the emotional intelligence of a Beavis and Butthead character. We are the dance monkeys because we're talking about it. And he's at home going, look what I made TMZ do. Look what I've made all the media do. Oh, probably the last day of her life. The main guy. How specific is that? Come on. if this guy had any knowledge, secreted a phone, but they don't know about it. Okay, wait, let's just follow the logic, Chris. He knows who they are, then they probably know who he is, right? And why wouldn't they kill him if they knew that he had information that could get them arrested? Oh, come on. This is just one big ringmaster, and we are jumping through hoops like little circus dogs. There's nothing.
I hope they catch him, because it's a crime. What he's doing. So, or he, she, they, whoever it is. Brianna, let me bring you in on this. What is your sense of reporting and understanding the context of the investigation around this second note especially? Do they believe that there's progress to be made here and that they're making it, or is this kind of in long shot territory for them?
I mean, I think it's a long shot territory, at least somewhat. We know that they're taking the note seriously, the first two that came in, which I think it's important to clarify that the first two ransom notes that came in that the FBI is investigating, that Savannah says she tends to believe are real, those are different than what TMZ is referring to right now with the emails that are coming in. And I think people are getting those confused because it is confusing. It feels like there's a million notes coming in from every which direction. But these first two notes, we know they're still under investigation. And Savannah was pretty clear in her interview to Hoda that she believes that these are real. And I think it's because of the verbiage that was used. I found them to be very interesting in just the way that they're worded. Like she perished shortly after she was taken. We didn't intend to hurt her. Nothing you could have done would change the outcome. We're truly sorry. And the way that these two notes kind of played off each other, you would think or would know that the first one that came in was written by the same person for the second one. So to me, when that came in the first week in the investigation and we saw it, that's where it kind of felt like things stopped. Like we haven't had true, real progress, like evidence that we know the FBI is investigating since these notes. And if they're true, that was kind of the end of it because they couldn't provide any proof of life at that point.
Right. Although, look, they still could have provided proof that they were in possession of Nancy, knew where she was, and they didn't, which is, of course, a big question mark because it doesn't mean you're not going to get paid. Most families will pay to get their loved one back. And also, just one more, I know it's a small point, and you have been very clear on this, Brianna, but just to squash the controversy. Not only do you know that they said in the note that she was no longer alive, but you say there was an apology in the note, that there was an expression of they didn't mean to do that. Just to be clear, yes?
To be very clear, we are truly sorry was at the end of the note.
Got it. Thank you, Brianna. And again, I'm not asking you because I was confused by you. You've been stellar as far as I'm concerned. Casey, the two notes that Brianna's focused on, and I think rightly so, do they give you any gut on whether or not the guy on the porch is the guy who writes those notes?
No, I don't think he is the one who writes the notes at all. And Brianna's right. We got to keep everything straight. And I do want to emphasize that the FBI, of course, they have to take all of these seriously and exhaustively look into the possibility that it's legitimate. But nothing has been, you know, I get people who go, oh, no, the second one was legitimate. I'm like, no. Savannah wants it to be legitimate, right? Because it brings her some sense of peace. But understand that if these people had any direct knowledge of what happened to Nancy, you would have some kind of visual proof of her alive or dead. You could take a picture of a ring on her finger. You could take a picture of her earlobe, a mole on her back.
So easy.
Something. It would be so easy, but no one's done it. No proof of life, no proof of death, which is why my conclusion is that they're all hoaxes at this point until we have something to prove that there is legitimacy.
One other quick thing, and we don't know, so it's not fair to dig too much on it, but you say most likely burglary gone wrong. My problem with that is unless this guy was strung out, I've never covered a case of a burglary where the person is so slow and brazen with what they're doing, unless they're drugged up, you know what I mean? And it's just a crime of opportunity. You really think that this may have been a home invasion gone wrong?
Yes, I do. And I do not dismiss at all that this person is on drugs and looking for items that he can steal and hawk, gold, silver, metals, take them to the pawn shop for money, for drugs. That is what most burglaries are about. Listen, if it was really about Nancy and they knew that this was Nancy, they would come in like ninjas and she would be out in 20 seconds and you would have proof of life and you would get all the money you want. Savannah wants her mother back. I truly think they They just want it. Idiocy, pure idiocy. Yeah.
Casey Jordan.
beginner's luck.
And I have to say, that's everything that I was saying from the first frickin' week. Shout out to that lady. Because, like, it's common sense. It's just common sense. And the ringleader of it all, Harvey Levin.
Yeah.
Possible suspect. You know, there's this reporting about this possible suspect out there now, you know, that drove by, you know, and I never understood why people were standing out there anyway, because it's not like Nancy was going to come walking up the street and going up the driveway. It's not like her and the kidnapper were going to do a joyride through the neighborhood, you know, like, so these people that are like creating this possible suspect out of some dumbass that drove up and was just trying to see what was going on, you know, the hawkers, you know, the ones that are always, you know, the ones that look at an accident as they're driving by. Now people are starting to attack this guy as the newest possible suspect, and the clickbait is just getting so ridiculous. But with one thing that they mentioned about, you know, what was on the letter about "we are truly sorry," and that was in the second letter that was written, which the first two should be looked at as credible, because I think those were. Do you think that is an apology? We are truly sorry. No, I don't think so either. Are they? I think what they're trying to do is, if they get caught, they try and minimize their punishment, because it, like this lady said, and like I was saying, you know, if somebody's showing up to a camera like that, it's not professional. Like, that is like the lowest of the lowest criminal. Like I've always said, you didn't even do the minimal of walking backwards so your face didn't show up on camera. There was no way. And that's why I felt that she was dead right away. And I said that from the beginning, is because you mix that with the blood loss. If they weren't prepared to show up in front of a ring camera, they definitely weren't prepared for the blood loss. And they're not going to let all that DNA, the more DNA that gets in their vehicle or whatever they're transporting, is the more that it can tie back to them. And they want to get rid of that as soon as possible. Minimize the damage. Yeah, I just think it was like I said, a robbery that went wrong. Like, they went in there, they were expecting to find, you know, she according to the neighbors, she went around and bragged about her daughter and how much money she made. And, you know, somebody knows that neighborhood. It's a very well-off neighborhood. You know, it's very dark. You look at the layout. I broke down how, you know, if somebody was going to enter the property professionally, then this is how they would enter it. And, you know, it was a perfect house, really. It was a perfect house, just like the Idaho 4 for the crime that was committed there. It was the perfect house, the perfect surrounding, the perfect foliage, the perfect darkness, the perfect no lighting, you know, just all of it. And her house was perfect for the crime. If you go watch my video, how I did it, or how I would do it, I don't remember what it's titled, but that's my theory. And I break down where I would have hid, how much time I would have had. I explained the cover I would have had, how how you go in, how to prepare, to stake out, all of these different things, from the very beginning of, you know, what made sense, you know, just from the outlay of everything. So, really, I think they went in there looking for some high-priced items. They knew her daughter was worth a lot of money, and who knows? Maybe the $4 million wasn't necessarily professional. Maybe it was just a humongous amount to make people really take it seriously, and they were just shooting for the stars. It could be that too. But I definitely think that they thought that there would be some kind of safe, a lot of cash, a lot of jewelry, very high-priced items. And when they probably found that there was nothing there, most of it was probably in a bank safe, which they wouldn't have access to at that point. And so the next thing would be is to kidnap her for ransom, because, you know, you went in there trying to score some high-priced items. You quickly found out that it was pretty basic, and with the items that were in there, you needed to profit somehow. And so just from the little items, it's like, all right, well, she is a well-known person. We'll go ahead and get a ransom out of it. But I think the guinea pig, you know, the mastermind was in the background. When we did the video edits, we showed you the person walking in the background, standing next to the tree, while the other person was doing their little thing. I really honestly think that the person that made Nancy bleed like that was the same person that was on the camera. Because when you see how they showed up to the camera, they weren't thinking ahead. So when you go to commit those crimes, you need to already play out scenarios in your head. You already have to anticipate different things, so that way when something happens that's not expected, you're not basing your choices and decisions off of emotions, because that's where you fuck up. So you need to have everything, all the scenarios played out in your head. That way when anything does pop up, you can react with a thought process. And so the reason I say that the blood loss probably happened from the person that was on the camera is because they didn't have that thought process when they showed up to the camera. And I could see somebody, because if you're the guinea pig, go in there and get her, get what you can get, and then bring her out. You don't want your DNA in there. So you're telling them what to do. They're the ones that are spreading their DNA all over inside the house. They're the ones that would be the one that wouldn't think clearly, like, maybe I shouldn't pistol whip this old lady. Maybe I shouldn't do something to make her bleed like that, because they're not thinking ahead of time. There's something that happened that was unexpected for the guinea pig, and therefore the guinea pig resorted to some kind of violence to get their way. And unfortunately, their mistake also led to her not living very much longer and everything going to shit. And that's why I feel like the guinea pig was dead as well, because the mastermind would have went, this dude was already this reckless when it was go time. He's going to be this reckless when it's go time, when somebody's going to start asking him questions. Gone. Period. Period. So I really feel like the guinea pig was the reason that all of this went to shit. And, you know, the ransom notes were real, but after that, no. Sorry.
Who breaks into a house in the middle of the night with the occupants still in there and not expect an issue to happen, for them to hear something and wake up? And so a burglary gone wrong, but what kind of criminal thinks that way? You know, I'm going to break into this house with this person in here, and I'm going to assume that they're not going to hear me. They're not going to wake up. They're not going to get involved. I'm not going to have an issue to deal with.
You want them in there.
That doesn't make sense.
So this is why you would want somebody in there, and this is why it happened on the night that it did. Because Sundays for Nancy's are the same day compared to any other day for Nancy. Tuesday, she might have Annie and Tommaso over for dinner. Thursday, she might go over there for dinner. She might not the next week. You know, usually Monday through Saturday, it's really hard to predict what somebody's going to be doing. But on a Sunday, usually wake up at the same time, usually attend, if she did services at Annie and Tommaso's or she went to the church, that you would anticipate that Sundays would be, hey, we're going to have dinner together at the same time. Hey, we're going to hang out for church at the same time. Hey, we're going to do this at the same time. Every Sunday is going to be very, very Groundhog Day-ish. Okay.
Mhm.
So when it comes to a criminal, I want, if one of my goals is to kidnap her, I want her to be there. I also want her to be there if one of my goals is to rob the house, right? So let's think about this. Let's go back to January 11th, because that was the first date that one of these people showed up. I honestly think that they already broke in prior. Nancy just didn't notice. They probably went through items. They probably looked around. They're probably like, oh shit. And I had to imagine there was a safe. So they probably looked around. Okay, there might not be much value of some certain things. They probably took a couple things and Nancy just didn't pay attention because maybe she doesn't wear the jewelry very much or whatever. So she might not notice something. Now, if I'm this person, I'm going to come there because at this point, we got to remember January, it gets dark very early, 4:30 in the afternoon, somewhere around there, 4:30, 5 o'clock, it gets dark. When do you think she's going to go to the church service or hang out with Annie and Tommaso for a church service? Probably around 5, 6 in the evening, right? Might go during the day. But probably, as we know, she went to go hang out with Annie and Tommaso that evening, So to me, okay, I've already gotten down her routine on Sundays. So I know when she's leaving and I know when she's going to be back. And so what I'm going to do on the next time is I'm going to hang in the back behind that retaining wall, like I mentioned in my video, how I did it. I'm going to hang back there because I got perfect cover. And I can park and my car where it's parked not even be associated with the house that I'm going to from where I'm parking. So I could be parked in another spot in the neighborhood, have total cover to walk to the back of Nancy's property, and my car would be associated with another house, not even the house of Nancy's. So
Right.
I'm chilling in the back. I wait for her to leave. Okay, that's my time. And it's darkness. Remember January. It's my time where I can sit there and I can check windows and all this other stuff. Now, I said in the very beginning, people typically that age don't either lock their doors or they have windows that are left unlocked. Now, the reason I said there's a kitchen window that overlooks the outside, I could see Nancy leaving the kitchen window unlocked. Because why do I want to lock it and unlock it when I want to because I can't walk very far and maybe there's people in the back or there's kids out back or something. I'm just going to open the window to say something real quick and then I'm going to shut it, or maybe I leave it open a lot. But when she feels like it's a safe neighborhood, she's the generation that leaves things unlocked, whether it's doors or windows. I can see her leaving a window, a kitchen window that faces the backyard, her thinking she's safe. Oh, and I got a retaining wall and I got a fence that's keeping this backyard even safe and nothing happens here. Why am I going to keep locking and unlocking this kitchen window? So to me, that would have been a very easy access. But this person, during the 3 hours that she was gone, checking windows, okay, where can I enter the property after Nancy comes home and goes to bed? Because I need her to be asleep when I break in, but I want her to be there because I need something of value and she has the information to my value. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit in the back. I'm going to wait for the car. Annie and Tommaso pull up. They drop Nancy off. Nancy goes to the garage. I hear the garage door open. I see the light turn on in the garage. The garage door shuts. I see Nancy go inside. I see the kitchen light turn on. And then I see the bedroom light turn on. And then I see the kitchen light turn off. And then I see the bedroom light turn off. So I wait. I wait for a couple hours because after a couple hours, I know she's going to be in a deep sleep. People, you will typically fall into a deep sleep after an hour and a half when they get into their deepest sleep moment. So after I wait a couple hours, then you advance the timeline. That puts us in about the timeline when all this stuff is about to take place. Then I enter the access point that I already determined before she came back. I slip through there. I go through there. I pop it open. I go inside. I ask her, what's your safe combination? I'm not giving you my safe combination. You're going to give me the safe combination because I want everything inside and I'll leave you alone, blah, blah. I'm not giving you the safe combination. No, get out of here. What are you doing? That person is not getting their way. The guinea pig is not getting their way. So then they have to pistol whip her. Give me your freaking safe combo. She finally gives it to them. They open up the safe. They take whatever they can get. Now, they got to take her with. Now, whether they wanted to abduct her or kidnap her, that can be, to me, it's like maybe it could be a thing where, damn, I hit her and she's bleeding. Now we have to take her and do a ransom, or that's what they were planning the whole time. But I feel the January 11th, and this is again why I feel like they needed her to be there, is because I already feel on January 11th they already broke in. She didn't notice because she left stuff unlocked, and she didn't notice items that were already missing because she's not going to remember. She's used to wearing the same typical stuff. She's not moving a lot. She's not going out places a lot. And typically those people are going to go after jewelry and cash. Those are the two things that you get the most for. And the two things that it's hard for somebody to notice is gone unless they go to look for it or use it. Because normally those things are hidden in places that aren't out in the open. So somebody's not going to walk by as they're going to go to the ice cream shop and go, oh shit, where's my cash that was sitting on the table? No, it was hidden. So I really feel like they went there, they broke in there before, nothing was noticed. They noticed there wasn't much value in there. And so they wanted to come back because there was a safe in there. There was things that had value that were locked, and they couldn't get in it without her actually being there for them to get the information to get it. So yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, so hopefully I don't know, there's some News Nation is putting out some videos now. Latest Guthrie kidnapping note, bogus cold case researcher says. So, you know, the Mark Garagos, the letter for the single Bitcoin and not millions, it's perplexing. I mean, at least people are starting to question this stuff. Yeah. I don't know how TMZ keeps getting away with what they're getting away with, but thank God that there's people, you know, on these panels that are actually like speaking the common sense, because there's so much misinformation nowadays and people don't do their own homework. You know, they just take whatever somebody says as fact. You got to do your own homework too, you know, because yeah, if we're all really trying to help,
TMZ.
we need to really truly help. Yeah, because of TMZ. You know, even Mark Garagos does the podcast with Harvey Levin, and I was going to play that today, but I'm just a little nervous, to be honest with you, of doing anything TMZ with TMZ's platform, because, you know, that's a direct battleship hit. But, you know, even Mark Garagos, his buddy on their podcast that they do, Two Angry Men, Mark Garagos is even like question it. So it makes me wonder, who knows, you know, maybe this Harvey Levin and Mark Garagos episode, maybe Harvey Levin is going to be real on that podcast and not what you see on the video, you know, sad face. We got another note. I don't know. We'll have to check it out sometime, but I'm going to separate that from this episode just because I don't want you know, we won't be as spicy on the next one. You know, if we cover that, I'm gonna check it out myself and see, you know, what's on it. But yeah, do you want to check out this one about this cold case researcher, or you think we're good?
I mean, we can.
Think we're good. Yeah, let's see. We'll go ahead and check it out real quick. We'll see what, I don't even know who it is. Cold case researcher. Let's just see what they have to say. But I think the lady that just spoke on the last video on Chris Cuomo, I think that lady said it best with everything. With everything that she said it best. I don't know how you can get more common sense than that. All right, here's this this cold case researcher.
And it appears there could be new developments in the case of Nancy Guthrie, the missing 84-year-old mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. TMZ now saying it has received another letter from someone claiming to know the identity of Guthrie's captors. Let's listen.
He says that he has video. He has video of Nancy Guthrie with the main kidnapper on what probably would be the last day of her life. He also says that he has names, addresses, phone numbers of the kidnappers.
So all of this comes as some members of the joint FBI Pima County Sheriff's Task Force are now reportedly questioning whether someone may have missed a critical opportunity in the early days of the case by not paying the millions of dollars in ransom that was first requested. Here with us now to break details surrounding this case is Cold Case Investigative Research Institute founder and director and friend Cheryl McCollum. She's also the author of the book, Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer, Solving the Cold Case of the Flint River Killer's Daughter, and host of the Zone 7 podcast. Cheryl McCollum, friend of mine, thank you very much for coming into the studio today to talk about this. You and I have been talking about this since it began.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I just, every time we hear about one of these new letters, I keep wondering, why are these letters going to TMZ? You know, what do you make of this latest letter that Harvey's talking about?
Laura, I have not changed my opinion on any of the letters. It's bogus. If you have video, send it to law enforcement. There's $1 million waiting for you. But now you're only asking for 60 grand. None of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
If you have the actual kidnappers on video and you know their names and their ages and their addresses, why is this thing not solved?
So we've got emails and we've got notes, and apparently, you know, one of these letters or notes Savannah Guthrie believed could have some credibility because, you know, there were reports that whoever is writing some of these, or one of them, that they knew something about what was inside the house, the Apple Watch, that she had the exact location, maybe some other details. Do we think any of that could be true?
I don't think any of it's true. They're all bogus. And the reason is, look what they're asking. They didn't ransom her immediately. They waited days. Then they give you a double ransom date. Who does that?
Right.
And then Savannah says, we will pay. Then there's no more communication. Now they're waiting 145 days. And again, they're asking for something odd. We're back to the Bitcoin. But now they're alleging they have a secret phone in a secret location. It just doesn't pan out to me. None of it sounds authentic.
Right. And so we've got Harvey Levin with TMZ, who spoke with News Nation last night and says there's more information that he learned. Let's listen to that.
Of course, have been in contact with the FBI. There are certain things they would rather we don't put out there. And honestly, we don't want to say everything that's in there because then other people you could have copycats now using that information. We know that this is the same person because of the Bitcoin address that they include in there. And there's a name that they use. However, there's never any email for us to contact him. So we're basically just waiting whenever he decides he wants to send these emails to us.
All right. So that was the executive producer, Charles. They've both been talking to.
And notice he kept saying he, not she. So do they trust their own reporting? No, they don't.
Everybody about what's been going on. So, you know, look, this new note alleges that the two individuals are involved in the kidnapping, but you have other theories. What are your theories?
I think it's one person. There's only one person that we have seen. There's only one person that is on video on separate dates. This person, when we first see him at her home, you know, he doesn't have the backpack, he doesn't have the weapon, he doesn't have the mouth light. Later, the day that she's left the blood at the front of the door, he's got a backpack that is full, he's got a weapon, he's got the mouth light. That date, he was mission ready, Laura. What changed? You don't see a second person. There's no indication there's a second person. The door's propped open, the lights, they're knocked out. That's all staging. That's making you think there's more than one person, but there's zero evidence. Nobody, a third person didn't walk through the blood. She wasn't drugged. There's nothing that shows two people.
Yeah,
zero.
And when we talked back in February, you and I talked about the possibility of Mexico, and that has re-entered the conversation. Do you still stand by it's just a location, it's just geography?
Mexico is geography, just like Tulsa is geography. Why not just go in another direction? But when you say Mexico, it freaks people out. They're thinking an illegal, the cartel. None of that has been substantiated in any way. Even the people that are writing these notes and letters have not said anything about that. If this was the cartel, she would have been murdered in that house, left right there.
Right. And we also talked about DNA, and we've talked about how there hasn't been a hit in CODIS, and just because you don't have CODIS doesn't mean it's the end of the road. It just means that somebody wasn't in the system.
That's right. Take John Hinckley. He would not have been in the system before he shot the president. You know, Ted Bundy, BTK, none of these people had a, felony record. They wouldn't have been in CODIS. It doesn't mean they're not dangerous people. This person is clearly dangerous. No doubt about it.
So you've been...
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
All right, Chris Cuomo again, and I dropped a link in chat. Signals to the second perp, the light signals sent to the other abductor, and that was the video edit where you can see the other person walking along the driveway in the distance in the back, and then they make a way all the way over to the tree, and you can see them standing there, just kind of observing. They had plenty of cover with the foliage in the darkness, and they were quite a distance away where you wouldn't even be able to tell. Now, with that lady... Oh, sorry.
I do want to say real quick, if you haven't read her book, Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer, it's actually a really good read, and I suggest reading it. It's a true story based on one of her investigations that she did. But it gives you a little more insight on the different view of investigating crimes like this. You know, we know what it's like on our end, but you see a little more what it's like on her end.
And if it was Mexico, then they would have already been busted already, honestly. International laws, to me, is what it's saying. And when it comes to the second individual, that's why I put the video link up there. To me, there is a second individual. And I do want to cover one thing real quick before we end. Scott Reich wanted to discuss the JLR, coercive control, domestic violence, and kind of had a discussion about it. Now, you guys saw, or if you haven't, a lot of boots on the ground work and investigating that we did for Micah Miller's case. A lot of work for it, and JLR and Magnolia were doing a lot of work for the Micah Miller case. And so it was shocking to me when I heard about the coercive control and the domestic violence, the financial exploitations, all of the things that JP Miller was doing to Micah Miller. And so it was kind of shocking to me when, you were there, because I was next to JLR out there at some of these court hearings as well. And I went to all of them. He went to some of them. He was out there, and you just, when somebody was working that hard for a case, right alongside, not that we work together, but right alongside, and to see that they actually committed the same kind of things. It was kind of like, whoa, that takes a special kind of nutball to create awareness and promote awareness for things that you do yourself, you know? Like, that's pretty wild shit.
Well, that's what they do, though. That's how they continue to get away with what they do.
Yeah, prayers to Magnolia, you know, going through all that. And you're going to see there's court stuff that's going to be happening soon. But I thought it was kind of interesting. Scott Reich from Crime Talk brought it up on one of his episodes. So there's a link for a video that we kind of brought up. It's like, damn, it's the same. John Paul Miller was doing the same thing. And it's just like, whoa, you were an advocate against this stuff, just like all of us were against domestic violence, against coercive control. And it's just really shocking to see that the same actions are involved with that party as well. So prayers to Magnolia. She's going through some health stuff too that she's put out there in social media. So prayers for her and her health and her future health, because just because it's gone today doesn't mean it ain't gonna come back tomorrow, which typically happens. So prayers to her and her strength and her recovery. And then to be going through all that stuff too, and then the ugliness of venom, especially from females, you know, that's what's really shocking to me, Jennifer, is that there's a lot of females out there that still support this individual and actually attack Magnolia females.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? Like females? Really?
Yeah.
So
I can't explain that.
It doesn't make sense to me. So here's Scott Reich talking about it here.
The New York Post goes after the true crime YouTuber JLR investigates. So Jonathan Lee Riches, the YouTuber known as JLR Investigates, faces allegations of domestic violence from a former girlfriend who claims in court records that his true crime content is driven primarily by financial gain rather than factual accuracy. Now, in a sworn petition filed in Arkansas, Jamie Tennell Phillips accuses Riches of a year-long pattern of physical abuse, coercive control, intimidation, financial exploitation that began when the couple started dating back in early 2023. She alleges the relationship escalated into a violent attack on Christmas Eve 2025 in Washington state, leaving her with a broken nose and septum, significant head and rib trauma, and other injuries that required emergency medical care, including a CT scan, x-rays, and it will necessitate reconstructive surgery. Phillips further claims that Riches strangled her roughly 24 times during their relationship, beat her with a closed fist in a separate incident back in August of 2025, and threatened to kill her if she reported the abuse. She also alleges ongoing harassment and financial exploitation as well. Now, back on January 21st of 2026, an Arkansas court issued an order of protection against Riches after determining Phillips faced an immediate and present danger of domestic abuse. And the Chelan County Sheriff's Office in Washington confirmed to investigators that they had probable cause to arrest Riches in connection with the alleged Christmas Eve assault, but stated that he'd already left the state. So as of right now, there are no formal criminal charges and none have been filed against him. Let's be clear about that. And no arrest warrant has in fact been issued. And obviously, Mr. Riches is entitled to the presumption of innocence. These are allegations that have not been proven in a court of law. Now, Riches has not publicly responded to the allegations, and neither he nor his attorney returned requests for comments from the New York Post. Now, Phillips told reporters that Riches appeared motivated solely by profit rather than accurate reporting. She says, quote, "The only thing he cares about is money," end quote. She says he doesn't care about the cases. He loves when there's a mass shooting. He gets excited because he knows he'll get a lot of views and make a lot of money, end quote. She added that his extended live streams from crime scenes amounts to, quote, "easy money," end quote, regardless of whether the information presented is factual. Now, this characterization aligns with statements Richens made back in a 2019 interview in which he acknowledged he does not concern himself with the long-term consequences of spreading disinformation. He described intentionally creating false narratives about mass shooters and distributing them through fake accounts, knowing that vulnerable individuals would believe and share them. Now, Riches has grown his JLR Investigates channel to more than 500,000 subscribers by live streaming for extended periods from active crime scenes and high-profile cases, most recently outside of the missing Tucson home of Nancy Guthrie. Fellow true crime streamers have estimated that his operation can generate roughly $30,000 per week. Well, if that's the case, maybe I need to go stand in front of Nancy Guthrie's house. Anyway, Riches has a felony conviction, so he is a convicted felon, previously serving 10 years in federal prison after pleading guilty in 2003 to wire fraud and conspiracy charges stemming from a credit card fraud scheme. While he was incarcerated, he filed thousands of frivolous lawsuits, prompting a rare nationwide injunction barring him from further litigation. After his release, he gained notoriety for multiple hoaxes, including falsely claiming to be the uncle of the Sandy Hook shooter, Adam Lanza, back in 2012. Now, the order of protection remains in effect, and authorities in Washington state continue to investigate the allegations. Now, Riches has not been criminally charged and is presumed innocent unless and until formal charges are filed and proven in a court of law. Now, I've never met JLR Investigates, but we did talk with him last time because basically it was because of him that the Barry Morphew trial will not be live streamed, at least from what we can tell as of right now, because it clearly states you can't stream it. In fact, you face contempt. And the judge specifically mentioned him in the citation. Now, they weren't going to go after contempt, but he's the one that was the major culprit on that. I don't know what to believe. Allegation.
So he kind of went off and put all the chaos and damage that has been created from this whole misinformation campaign. I mean, and you look at it now, like, who do you think it started? Like, when Savannah wrote that letter to the sheriff about Alex, it was disgusting to see that and to have that associated with your mother's name.
Mm-hmm.
To sit there and antagonize neighbors, treat their backyard like your stool, sit there and say nasty ass shit while you're streaming about the victim, sexual things. I mean, just promoting being an officer, promoting brutality as a fake officer, like all of these different things. I'm surprised she didn't send it out earlier. I'm surprised she's not sending something out to TMZ either. But,
yeah,
you know, when she sent that letter, it's like enough with it. And the way that whole group started attacking Savannah and her family members again when she sent that letter, it's just so unfortunate and ugly that this stuff is happening. And you see, he just pointed out a whole bunch of other cases and things where just somebody that's loose and unhinged just Just goes and creates a muck, and then look, you know, he created a muck over there in Arizona and then bounced because he knows when time's up.
Yeah.
And he bounced, and then all of his friends got arrested. He couldn't even like give a heads up to his friends, you know, like, hey, I'm noticing things is getting a little, you know, sketchy. You guys might want to just chill for a little bit, back off for a little bit, do some studio shows like me in Florida, you know.
I don't know that some of them would have even listened.
Probably not.
No.
Because they're probably broke because they spent all the money that they got already because they don't know what it's about. It's about the victims and the communities, not about your cheeseburger.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they all blew all they all had to have blown all their money real quick. I mean, shit. Because if you're about victims, families, and communities, you save that because each dollar helps another community and victim and family when you're out there searching and investigating. You know, when I was out there doing my stuff, I didn't eat the fanciest shit. In fact, I sacrificed a lot of shit just because I felt bad spending one more dollar that was going to another community. But when you don't have that in your mind, you're not saving that dollar, you're spending it on something that you want. So I'm pretty sure they probably all blew through their money real quick, and they had to be out there to continue because hey, I'm making this much and I'm probably going to make this much next month, so I'm going to overspend. And I bet a lot of them were overspending because they anticipated that same amount coming because they're not thinking about it the right way. And next thing you know, oh shit, we got to still be out there because I didn't get that much this month, so I need to make sure I get out there some more to keep pumping it, you know?
Yeah.
So this whole lawyer campaign and fundraiser, have fun spending your all money on shit that it's going to be for shit that, I mean, look at Dolly. Dude's buying it on fucking vehicles and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, would it be nice to have those kick-ass vehicles? Yeah. But I've been putting this in the same vehicle for 10 fucking years. You know? And that was the vehicle that took me everywhere, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could I have been in some badass fucking decked out van? And yeah, I could have. But no, it wasn't about that. It was about making sure it was for the next one. But a lot of good stuff. I think there's a lot of people that are on these mainstream media channels now that are starting to say the shit that should be said. And hopefully this TMZ ransom note shit, just, you know, they came out last and said, you know, if we get another one, we're not going to report it. So that's the next time they said it. Hopefully they stick to it. They should have not said nothing from the very beginning. It's just made a muck of all this.
Yeah, I don't believe that they're gonna keep quiet if they get another one. It brings in too many views and too much money, and they're not gonna walk away from that.
No, it's the same reason why Scott Reich said what he said, you know, and that's what Magnolia said. She knows the most, you know. She was there. They probably got in arguments about it, because you know Magnolia, whenever, you know, she was working on stuff, it was real, it was factual, it was legitimate stuff. You know, she brought a lot of legitimacy to the platform when she worked with them. Because I was getting just as much information in the Micah stuff, so I knew stuff that they were discussing and getting was credible, because I was getting just as credible stuff that had to do with different aspects of the case. So I could tell.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it was her talking, him deferring to her about the information, who she talked to, and things like that. And so I'm sure that was a problem, you know, because when you're doing it the way that we do it, and there's people that are around you that are doing it for the wrong reason, it really bugs you. It really eats at your heart, because it's like you feel guilty, like you're contributing to their behavior because you're getting information, and you have to, like, you're associated with somebody that's creating stuff just for the clicks. I mean, you can see the damn titles and the thumbnails, you know, the dude's not even out in Arizona, and you got Sheriff Nanos in the background standing behind him with the truck and out at Nancy's house, and and then the big yellow arrow pointing at Sheriff like he was getting approached from Sheriff Nanos or something. But TMZ, like, they're the main culprit out of all this anymore, and have been. If it wasn't for these ransom notes, I don't think anybody would be. I think people would have moved on to something else without creating the drama, because that's how these cases get. There's no information from the first day or from the first couple days, and months later, people have to make shit up just for everything to be relevant, and then continue to get the clicks. And TMZ is like the main culprit, man. If it wasn't these ransom, I honestly think, because the lack of information, eventually it'll start to fizzle away, and if something does come out, then you report on it. But they just need to stop attacking these people that have nothing to do with it, the family or dumbasses that drove by being gawkers. I don't know.
Yeah.
All you can do is hope. So if there's another update, we'll come. We'll discuss it. But until then, if there's not, really, we already discussed. I think we said everything that needed to be said. When it comes to the ransom notes and the rumors, a lot of rumors. A lot of rumors. As a source, Noodle Arms has source at Sheriff's Department. Well, anybody can claim they have a source. Just like Banfield, a source close to the investigation says Brian Koberger had 2 of the victims' IDs in his shoebox in a closet. It never, people can say sources. It's such a loosely used word now, because anybody can go, well, I'm not telling you my source. It's like I said, the people that brag usually don't have it. They have to brag to make up for the fact that they don't have it. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's how that usually typically goes. What's up, Amy? Happy Sunday to you, and thank you all for being here. Appreciate it very much. Let me drop the Jennifer G Files link in chat. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe. Please hit the like if you haven't, and if you're not subscribed here, make sure you do so. And we'll be back Tuesday night. Monday night have off. Tuesday night should be back. It's going to be a hell of a week for me out there in the heat. We're going to be in a heat dome this next week. That's going to be at about 115 plus heat index. And last week it wasn't even that bad, and it put a hurting on my body the last few days of the week. So that's why I was kind of, I got a lot of sleep, because my body was like, dude, you need water and sleep, bro, to heal up, man. So I'm going to try my best, you guys, but the next week it might be, so Tuesday, just the typical days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 o'clock Central. I'll try my best. I will try my best. And even if I'm not totally focused mentally because of the heat and the dehydration, we might end up doing a comedy and coffee episode where we hang out and react to funny topics. By the way, I might even do one tonight. We'll see how I feel, because those shows, those are going to be the interactive shows that we hang out, and basically I'll have 4 topics for you. And Jennifer already knows some of them that I've teased to her about the coffee and crime or coffee and comedy shows. But I'm going to give you guys 4 options, and you guys get to pick the topic for the show for each one that we do. So you'll have 4 choices. I'll have a poll up in Streamyard, and you guys can vote. And then after we chit chat for a good 20 minutes or so, we can go into the topic that was voted in for the show. And then I also thought about ending each episode with a match of The Price is Right. Just anybody from chat can be a contestant at the end of the coffee and comedy show, and we can see if you win any prizes from The Price is Right. Have you ever played The Price is Right game when we did The Price is Right, Jennifer? You ever played that in chat before?
No, I watched, but I didn't play. Yeah.
Yeah, The Price is Right. We haven't done that for a while, and that sounds fun. And yes, if you guys didn't hang out last night, I'm thinking about doing another episode today. Probably be at the lounge channel only. But yeah, we had a pretty fun episode last night, a police simulator, street patrol. Last night. So if you missed that, go to the live tab and you can check. There's either the vertical or the horizontal version. Blinking and driving. Yeah, that was a pretty boy, that lady had a lot of charges last night. I'm surprised I didn't get shot though, because normally I get shot in that situation. It's tough out there when you don't have a partner. It really is, man. It really is, because if I had a partner, I'd be like, all right, this lady looks like she could be trouble, so-and-so. Do me a favor, get your taser out just in case they pull a gun. You know, if you need somebody to stay put while you go do, it's tough being a cop out there by myself. So if anybody does play that game, let me know. By the way, it's free with Xbox Game Pass, so if you have Xbox or a PC, you can play it for free, and the graphic ain't, listen, it ain't GTA, so the graphics don't require a lot of shit. So if you have Xbox Game Pass, you can play it for free. The gold version is on sale for the same price as the base version. If you're interested in buying it, and you get every DLC that comes with it, and it's like $250 worth of DLC. So that's very worth it. But yeah, I'm going to be venturing more. We're going to do border patrol and gang units and crime scene investigations and things like that. But I need a partner. I need a partner first, because that's a lot of shit to, can you imagine me trying to bust a drug gang by myself? Shit.
No.
I would die. I need a partner that can shoot with me, But we'll see what happens. I love you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you again, Jennifer. Make sure you go sub up to her if you're not. And we will see you on the next show. Love you guys. Be safe.
Bye.
And thanks for being a part of the community.